Hi, friends. I gotta tell you about this conversation I just had with a guy this morning. And his story sounded way too familiar, and we gotta get rid of the causes of this story. Yeah, okay, let me just tell you, let me fill you in. There's a guy who has gone to church. He was a faithful church attender with his family as he grew up. But now he's convinced that he might be God, that we all are gods walking around because somebody told him, hey, in the Bible it says we're the sons and daughters of God. And if we're sons and daughters of God, that means we are God. And so we can now design our own experiences of how we should live and what's right for us because we're our own gods. And we can celebrate ourselves and, in a sense, worship ourselves because there's nothing bigger or greater. We gotta get rid of this story. The saddest part is I'm hearing it from places all, or not places, from people all over. All kinds of different demographics, all kinds of different people. All these young people are growing up in Christian families and abandoning what they say or what their family intended to create as a foundation. That's why it is so important to have a spiritual growth plan for your kids. I know it's so crazy. We think about our personal growth plans, we think about business growth plans. We think about all these other areas where we plot it all out. We plan out vacations. We plan out all these other things that are so much less important than our kids' spiritual lives. They're eternal beings. They're going to live forever, one place or the other. And as parents, as leaders of parents, we have a responsibility to help kids have a real foundation. It's not enough for your kids to hear some cute Bible stories at church or even just, go to church regularly. The new average is once every 3 weeks because of soccer or baseball or music or vacations or whatever it might be, weather. And I'm not saying that even that if you go every week, it's enough because it may not be all that God wants for your family. I'm not saying church is bad. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is without an intentional spiritual growth plan, that you're intentionally giving them one solid experience at least each week that goes beyond Bible stories and really helps them develop that spiritual foundation they need. I know you don't like to hear it. We like to pawn as parents the spiritual guidance part of for our kids off on the church, but the church was never intended to be the sole location that you can go for spiritual training. Instead, if you look in the word, everybody says, or should all the verses say, it's the parents' responsibility. So what is the church supposed to do? The church is supposed to be a training place, equipping place for parents to be able to do the works of the ministry, including spiritually raising their kids, giving them that spiritual foundation that they need. If you're totally unsure on how to do this, one option for you might be Root Bible Academy. You've heard me talk about it a bunch, so I'm not going to belabor it. Root Bible Academy, live online. It's basically like Bible studies for your kids to jump in with other kids their age. And then there's parent tools to help you be the spiritual leader in your home. And then also, you gotta stay tuned. Next week, I got 4 things that I've learned from Pastor Mark Harper that every child needs to have when they're young to keep them from falling away or from God or struggling even in their teen or college years. So if you want to have a kid or a teen, a college kid that isn't struggling, isn't insecure about their foundation, their spiritual foundation, they're not even looking to experiment with other things because they know they have what's real, then you gotta listen in next week. I'm going to do it over 4 different days so the videos don't go real long. And you got to join me. It's going to be so good. And it's so needed, because if we want what it seems like it is the normal byproduct of a Christian home, then we can just keep doing what everybody else is doing. If we don't mind if our kids fall away from God or struggle in experimenting with this or that in their teen and college years, if that's part of your goal for them, go be average. But if you want your kids to have a strong, solid, spiritual foundation that cannot be shaken as they continue to grow and become leaders in the spiritual area with their kids, and instead of all the other kids impacting their relationship with God, instead their relationship with God makes an effect in the world around them, then you gotta stay tuned and you gotta start designing with God and with your spouse an intentional spiritual growth plan for your kids. Now I'm going to talk about next week 4 things that need to be in it. I'll see you then. Thanks. Bye.